I've been telling you that Chance Moore was going to be a valuable asset to this Mountaineer basketball team. And while I've been telling you, he just showed you tonight in his performance against Clemson. This is the Mountaineer Moment, your source for all things West Virginia football and basketball. From pregame to postgame coverage and breaking news, we've got you covered. Let's go. All right, I get it. I mean, it would be a lot sweeter if this Chance Moore performance came in a Mountaineer victory, but the Mountaineers, I'm not even going to go as far to say fall apart. They just lost the game, and Clemson came and won it. It wasn't a 15-point, 20-point, 30-point collapse or anything like that. Clemson hung around long enough and then made some shots when they, mattered even more so, high-pressure moments at the end. West Virginia defense struggled, offense struggled, but that's not why we're here. We already covered that. We already vented a lot about the Mountaineers and this performance against Clemson while we're here on this episode. And again, it's so frustrating, yes, because it would have felt a lot more better. We'd be a lot more cheerful talking about the performance that Chance Moore just had it resulted in a win for the Mountaineers. But they're still, let's not lose sight. Let us not lose sight of what Chance Moore just did in his first game as a Mountaineer, because he, in a lot of ways, stole the show. Yes, you win this game, it's going to be even more talking about it, even more shows talking about it, even more articles written about it. I get it. But there's still Chance Moore, regardless of what the win-loss says, still had a game to remember, still had a game that you can apply moving forward for reason for optimism moving forward for this West Virginia team. So again, this is Mountaineer Moment. My name's Troy, your source for all things West Virginia football and basketball here. This is episode number 95, and on this one, we're focusing on Chance Moore. We're focusing on the performance that he just had against Clemson. Incredible for his debut as a Mountaineer. We're going to talk about why that can lead to optimism for the future about this team. Chance Moore just stuffs the stat sheet. We're going to talk about all that he brought and all that he can continue to bring for this Mountaineer team, specifically his presence defensively and just the downhill threat that he provides to this team that no one else on the team provides quite the way that Chance Moore does. And, of course, just analyze just box score-wise what he did, what he brought to the table, and why we're feeling so good about what Chance Moore just did. I will say, if you're not aware of why I kind of opened up the episode that way, talking about, Chance Moore, and I've been trying to tell you. Well, 1 month ago, we released an episode here on Mountaineer Moment saying that there's a massive sleeper for this West Virginia team that no one's talking about except for me, and it's Chance Moore. And that's not a slight to anybody else in the West Virginia community, because they know Chance Moore is really good too. I'm not sitting here saying that. But what I am saying is no one's been bigger than me on Chance Moore. Nobody. And then he comes out and has a performance like this, and I'm just sitting back oh my goodness, this is awesome, because I had a feeling he was going to do this. Let me correct myself there. I had a feeling he was going to have a major impact on this team. I still think he's going to have a major impact on this team, and yet he still surprised me with his fingerprints all over this game against Clemson. And again, it's just a shame that it came in a loss. But Chance Moore on the night, 16 points off the bench in 24 minutes. He made 2 out of 3 threes, one of which came at the end of the first half on a steal on an inbounds pass and a half-court heave that he banked in to give the Mountaineers a 7-point lead at half. After he already had a highlight reel poster dunk, driving baseline. Just, even at halftime alone, you're like, dude, this Chance Moore guy is legit. And I'm sitting here dude, I told you that a month ago or beyond when he signed. Had this podcast been in existence then, I was telling people off the air because we didn't exist back then. But since we've been talking about Chance Moore and what he brings to this team. He had 5 rebounds. He had 2 steals, 2 blocks. He is just a force everywhere. He stuffs the stat sheet, and he did that tonight in his first game, right? He might not even have full conditioning, his legs under him because he hasn't played. And yet, he was the most impactful Mountaineer tonight. He had the most shot attempts, 6 of 12. They were looking for him, and he is so... I don't even know where to begin. I guess we'll start with what he brings defensively, because he had a couple beautiful timed, well-timed steals and well-timed blocks. He's versatile defender. Obviously, he's a guard listed at 6'6", but, rebounded at 6.5 boards last year at St. Bonaventure, scored 13 points a game. But defensively, kind of like a B-Low, but in a different way, because he's, a little shorter and listed as a guard. has versatility to be able to defend multiple positions, be able to stay in front of his man, be able to, be active in passing lanes and still block shots and meet guys at the rim. Rebounding, he had a few he had 5 rebounds tonight, but a couple of them were just very, very impressive. And it shows you, that's exactly why he had 6.5 boards a game at St. Bonaventure as a guard, because he gets up for him and he fights and he competes and he's just that good. And, not to say that we wouldn't be having a different conversation if it was coming after a win. And I keep saying that, I keep harping on that. But, this performance that he had is in a lot of ways by a lot of people going to be a little spoiled because, well, he lost. And I'm trying my best to not, I keep saying it, but I'm trying my best to not let that take away from the performance that he had. That's exactly why we're doing this episode, talking about Chance Moore and what he brings to this Mountaineer team, because it's exciting. I've been excited about it for a long time, and maybe, just maybe, you're starting to get excited about it here based on what he did against Clemson. Offensively, so that's kind of what he brings defensively. We know his versatility. Offensively, there's not a better downhill threat on this team than Chance Moore. As far as a slasher guy on the wing that's going to take it and go. He did that a few times tonight. One of them was called for a charge. RJ Godfrey? Yeah, RJ Godfrey for Clemson, who was their best player tonight. Aside from Welling, who obviously kind of won them the game late with 8 consecutive points, 2 threes. But Godfrey, really, really, really good tonight. 14 points for him, but he took a charge, from Chance Moore late that helped them swing it to Clemson. But still, Chance Moore, no one on the team is that aggressive going toward the hoop and that effective. He had a couple beautiful drives tonight. You think of the play that West Virginia was down 3 with a minute left. They drew it up. Belo found Chance Moore cutting for the layup, and he put it in. They have faith in this guy for his first game to be the guy, getting the call. Obviously, it might have been an option for Belo to take it if it was there, but it wasn't, and he found Moore cutting for just a beautiful, after timeout play that was drawn up by Hodge for Chance Moore to be involved in and to get the bucket to cut it to a 1-point lead. Whew. He's just good. And I've been trying to tell you. And now you see. Because I've been saying it, like I said in the intro, I've been saying it, but he just showed you. And I think it's going to be a sign of things to come. So I think what this does, as we kind of wrap up just a short episode highlighting Chance Moore, because I don't want that to get lost. There's reason for optimism moving forward based on a performance like that, because he brings another dimension that was not a part of this team over the first 5 games that we watched. The Mountaineers won all 5 games, beat Pitt by 22 in the brawl, but Chance Moore adds another dimension, and he's such an asset defensively, such an asset offensively, that it's not like you're watching Chance Moore play ever and it's like, man, he's a liability because he can't do this or he can't do that, right? Because, well, he's not the best 3-point shooter. He made 2 tonight, I guess, kind of you can say 2 because he made 1 from half court. But as far as ones in the offense, he knocked down 1 out of 2 attempts. Took 1, late, that missed. And, Jasper Floyd obviously took a 3 late that missed badly. But for Chance, he's so good attacking the rim that, if you just sag off him at 3-point line, well, he's just going to come in and try and dunk on you, right? He's just going to come, he's going to drive it with force and get fouled, or, again, try to dunk on you. It felt like he got to the line a few times, but he only got there, 4 free throw attempts, knocked down a pair. He's just good. He's just a good all-around player. He stuffs the stat sheet, and he's going to continue to do that for the Mountaineers. I think he just opens up another element of your game. He's another body, but he's another capable body. He's another guy that, Mountaineer Paul thinks he's going to, at some point, he's going to get into the starting lineup soon because of Eaglestaff and his struggles. He's going to come off the bench. Whatever way, it plays out, whether Chance Moore comes off the bench or not. I mean, he had 24 minutes tonight compared to 17 for Eaglestaff. Obviously, Jackson Fields is going to come back into the fold or come into the fold for the first time as a Mountaineer. The transfer from Troy, and so that's going to play a factor in this. So it's up to Ross Hodge to determine who's going to get the what minutes and where they're going to come from, whether starting or off the bench for these guys. But Chance Moore is going to help this team win some basketball games. And overall, with his performance, with Amir Jenkins, and we've talked about it on that that immediate recap episode of this game for the Mountaineers. Overall, there's reason for optimism for this team coming out of this game, right? You don't lose this game and think, oh my goodness, we looked awful. Or, oh my goodness, we were completely outclassed or outplayed or outmanned by Clemson. In fact, it's quite the opposite. We really should have won the game. And you didn't, but you can apply it moving forward to say, you know what? This team might make some noise this year in the Big 12, right? That you leave saying that rather than saying it's going to be a long year. And Chance Moore's a vital part of that. Chance Moore's a vital piece of this team. We've been saying it here on Mountaineer Moment, and I'm glad it was shown in the way that it was in a coming out party for his first game in Charleston. Heck of a performance. Shout out to Chance Moore for what he brought already and what he's going to continue to bring to the Mountaineer team, to the fan base, moving forward. So, episode 95 here on Mountaineer Moment. Again, my name is Troy, and this is your source for all things West Virginia football and basketball, and we will see you next time.